back. The international break is over. Thank God. For 4 weeks. I don't care. All right, we'll deal with that one then. But it is lovely, isn't it, being back to enjoying Premier League football again and domestic football. It's just, I don't know about you, but international breaks I just find so painful, especially right as the season starts. You just get into the rhythm, you get the taste of it, and then all of a sudden it's snatched away from you. So West Ham are back in action and playing Fulham, of course, at Craven Cottage, a 4th game of the season. I don't know about you. This feels like a really big game. And I know that's weird to say 4 games into a season, but it's almost like if West Ham were to get a really positive result in this game, it would really set the tone. I think the expectation levels would really rise if West Ham would not only get a result, but put in a good performance. This feels like a big, big game for us, actually. Bigger than you'd normally think at this stage of a season. But because we've had so much change, obviously new head coach, new players, etc., to get a good result at somewhere like Fulham would really, I think, send out a very strong message, actually. So it's a big game and one that I'm really looking forward to, actually. So much so, right? I'm looking forward to this so much. I'm having an operation tomorrow. I'm not joking. I'm an op. And tomorrow, midday, right? So I'll be coming home to watch the game, right? And I don't care about the fact I've got an op. I'm that excited. I'm so looking forward to watching football. I'm literally like, it's almost like, I'll get that done, and then I'll come home and I can just watch the football. And obviously, I can be resting up for a few days. So I'll be sitting on the sofa watching a lot of football. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Let's talk about Fulham first of all, as we always do. I'm really impressed with them actually as a club. I think they've done really well in recent seasons. They've invested well. They've got a great manager. Marco Silva's a really top Premier League manager, and I know he had that sort of blip at Everton, but I think that's hard to sort of judge him too much on that, considering the state Everton are in as a football club. It's very difficult, but I think overall he's proven to be a really good manager. And the fact he stayed at Fulham, I think says a lot, about Marco Silva. He's a manager that very ambitious. We've seen that in his early days where he's moved clubs and stuff. He clearly wants to sort of progress and manage at the top level. And the fact he's remained there, he's had offers, big money moves as well. Saudi were interested in him, and he's remained there. And I just think it says a lot about where Fulham are as a club. It feels now like Fulham are a well-established Premier League side. They really do. They feel like a team now, home or away. And we know that from last season. Beat us twice, of course. Hammered us at Craven Cottage 5-0. But they are a side now that are going to give you a game. They are a very well-balanced, well-organised, well-drilled side. And not only are they that, but they possess now a lot of quality. This is going to be a really tough game for West Ham. Make no mistake. This is a really difficult fixture. But yeah, I can't say enough about them really as a club. I think they're really doing well, and it's good to see. I like Fulham. I've always had a soft spot for them, and it's good to see them now sort of settled in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? You don't look at them as a side now that you think, they're going to struggle. They're going to be a team that's going to be battling relegation. I feel like they are stepping well away from that now and starting to look up more as a club. Whether European football's in their sights, I would probably say probably not quite yet, but they're not miles off. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if they had like one of those seasons where they just get that momentum going and make a challenge. But I think, from standing on the outside looking in, they're more of a club you think that if they were, to finish, say, mid-table, I think they'd be pretty happy with that in a decent cup run. But they are a decent club, and they've done very, very well. And as I say, they've got so much quality in their side. Pereira, I'm a massive fan of. I think he's done so well. Obviously, left Manchester United, went to them. He's done really well as a player, and he seems to be getting better, doesn't he? As the seasons progress, he's just getting stronger and stronger, and he's such a vital cog now to that side. Robinson, of course, Lukic as well, which I really like. Berg. I mean, they've got some really decent quality players in there. And then you look now at what they've just done in the transfer window, brought in the likes of Smith Rowe. I mean, a top draw player there, and the right move for him. It felt like that is when that sort of came about, that transfer. I don't know about you, but I felt like that's a really sensible move for all parties. Smith Rowe's too good to be sitting on a bench. You know what I mean? He's too good, but he just struggled to get into that Arsenal side, and you can understand why. He needs to be playing football. And this just feels like such a good move for him because he's going to be the sort of main man now at Fulham. Obviously, his injury issues are the only concern with him, but he's such a quality player. And I'm just really pleased for him and pleased for them. They've managed to get that sorted. So, yeah, it's a really good move. Anderson, brilliant signing. Obviously got him from Palace. I'm so surprised Crystal Palace didn't keep him on. I mean, a very good defender, very solid. Obviously been at Fulham before, but he's a really decent player. And then getting Reece Nelson. I mean, a player that we heavily linked to. I was quite keen on bringing in, actually. You can go back to my videos. I talked about Reece Nelson. I thought he would have been a very good option for West Ham. I'm very glad we got Somerville. Don't get me wrong, very pleased. But I wouldn't have been disappointed with Nelson either. I think he's got a lot to prove. A little bit like Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe is obviously a more established player that came from Arsenal, but Nelson's very highly thought of, but just couldn't get into that side. So I just feel like you look at Fulham and that manager, how they get these players in, players that have not quite done it as good as they should have done, or probably hoped to have done at the clubs they were at. And you go and play under Marcus Silva. He's like that sort of manager. He's going to put an arm around you. He's going to make you feel wanted, make you feel important. And he's going to a club, I think, that have got that. They're on the up. Do you know what I mean? They're looking upwards. They're not looking down. They're not going to be batting relegation, as I say. I just think it's a really good move for these players. And it's going to be an interesting team to watch, actually, this season, Fulham. As I say, I don't think they're going to be challenging top 6 or anything like that. I think that's a little bit too far out their range at the moment because of the other clubs that are going to be fighting it out there. I'd like to think it would be one of those. But they're not miles off. And I think Gonzo said a really good line, actually, on Hammer's Chat. And he said, if you finish above Fulham this season, you're going to be fighting for the European places. And I think that's a really accurate assessment, actually, of exactly what you're looking at with Fulham at the moment. If you finish above them, then you're going to be in a really decent place in the Premier League. So they're a great side. West Ham have got a game on here. This is going to be bloody hard. And I'm looking forward to it. Let's talk about West Ham, though. This is the West Ham channel. Let's talk about West Ham. Let's talk about the team news first. Areola is back, fit. He recovered from his back injury. Of course, he sustained it playing against Manchester City. Came off at half-time. There was concern there, but I think it was alleviated pretty quickly, wasn't it? Because he went away with France like a couple of days later. So it kind of dispelled that there was anything serious. So that's also very good. Nicholas Füllkrug, of course, he's... touch and go, a bit 50-50, isn't it, at the moment? So he pulled away from the German squad during the international break, that wonderful break that we love so much. And he, Achilles issue. It was sort of two things, wasn't it? First of all, he said it's a serious Achilles issue. That's what first came about. And it was like, oh my God, I hope he hasn't ruptured it. No, it doesn't look like he's ruptured it, but it's quite serious. It could be serious. Then it was talking about tendonitis, wasn't it? They were saying it could be an issue you might be at for a month, recovering from that. And anyway, they brought him back home, and it's just a bruise, and it could be that he could even be available for this game. That's how minor it is. I don't think he will be. That's my gut feeling. I think if he is available, he'll be on the bench. That's my gut feeling with that one. Antonio, of course, has played for Jamaica, travelled again. I think this is a problem for West Ham. I've said it a couple of times. I'm really not able to go at Antonio. He's well within his rights to do what he wants to do. I think with his age, this Jamaica thing's just really causing him problems. Personally, I know he wants to play international football. I get it, but at his age, it's not helping, and it's just travel as well. For him, he needs to really be looking after himself and staying away from that, in my opinion. And I think it hampers him because, realistically, my point is here. Let's just say Antonio wasn't playing for Jamaica now. If he said, "No, I'm not going to bother with that. I just want to focus on West Ham," then I'd expect him to be leading the line in this game. I really would. I would say he's very likely to be starting because he'd have had 2 weeks on the training pitch with Lopetegui. He's not been there. He's been travelling away. And obviously, he's travelled quite a fair bit as well. So, but he did score while he was away, so it's good for him in that regard. But and obviously, Carlos Soler. Obviously, we're expecting to see him make his debut at some stage in this game. Whether he'll start or not, I'm not sure. But again, he's another player that's had the 2 weeks with Lopetegui. He's been on that training ground. I think that's really important. I'm going to come to that when I come to the team. And basically, when I say the team, my team, what I think we should pick. I think that this 2 week period we've had where Lopetegui's had to work with the players is really vital for the players he's had there, because I think that's going to lean towards a lot of these selections in this game. It's frustrating because obviously he would have wanted the likes of Paqueta, Bowen, etc., Kudus, Antonio, all these players to work with, but he has had some key players there as well. He's had, especially defensively. So I'm expecting, and obviously Carlos Soler has been one of those players. He's been working on the training ground, and that's going to do him no harm at all, getting to understand the Lopetegui's way and what he wants to do. So I'm really intrigued by this game. One, by who the lineup how the lineup's going to be. I think it's going to be quite telling. I think there's a couple of players going to be quite interesting manoeuvres in this one. And I also think how we play, because he's had enough time now to work with some players and what he wants to do. So I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. I want to know what your predictions are. I'm going to come to mine in a minute. But first of all, the team what I want to see. Areola in goal. Kind of don't need to explain that one. He's our number one goalkeeper, so I expect him to start. He's fit, as I've said. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, absolutely Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. Our best signing so far, I would say. Been tremendous since he started. Him and Kilman, at least, anyway, I would say they've both been exceptionally good since the start. We've had some good, actually, as I keep saying it, I think Rodriguez as well, he started well. We've had some really decent starts on some of his plays. Even Somerville, I know he's not played a lot, but when we've seen him, he's looked good. I've been very impressed with our players so far, the new arrivals. They've all looked pretty good. So, yeah, sorry, go back to it. Areola in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I'm starting to Debo. I'm sorry to say that to Mavropanos because he doesn't deserve it, actually. He doesn't deserve to be dropped, in my opinion. He's done nothing wrong. I think because Tadebo's been working on the training ground with Kilman for the last 2 weeks, I think for me, if you, and bear in mind, Mavropanos has been playing for Greece, so he's had his two centre backs he's been working with solid for 2 weeks on the training ground. I think that's enough time for them to understand each other and get a bit of and I think they need to be playing because let's be honest, that they're our back two, aren't they? They're our central defence pairing now. First choice, realistically. I'm not think it's unfortunate for Mavropanos because almost his shirt shouldn't be up for grabs. He hasn't really done much wrong. He's actually been pretty solid. I know he made a little bit of a cock up against City, but again, I don't think it was that bad. But that being said, I want to see this pairing. I want to see Kilman and Tadebo. I want to see what's going to pan out. It'll be interesting. And as I say, I think because they've been working with Lopetegui for a couple of weeks, I've got a feeling if I'm Lopetegui and it's been good, that's assuming that it's been good and they've been working well together, I'll be thinking it's time to see that. I want to see it in a match. So that's what I'm going for. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Tadebo, Kilman and Emerson at left back. Emerson, brilliant news this week, him not going. And not only not going, but the fact he's happy at West Ham, wants to stay beyond this season, I think it's really important. It's great. And great news, by the way. I know I haven't talked about it yet on this channel, but Ollie Scholes signing a new deal, that left-back role. I mean, it really solidifies that role because apparently Oliver Scholes is being seen as a successor now to Aaron Creswell. So it just... that left back role now is just it's there, it's tidy now for the foreseeable. So I'm really, really pleased about that. So yeah, Emerson left back. My midfield is Edson Alvarez paired with Rodriguez. I think we're going to need those two. I think they're starting to form that partnership, and I want to see more of it. And I just feel we look a bit more solid with them too. And I think this is going to be a tough game. We're up against it against Fulham here a little bit. They possess some real quality, and I just think I want to see that midfield develop further. So yeah, Alvarez and Rodriguez in the middle. This is now where I think this is going to happen. This is what I think is going to happen as well. Not so much what I want to see. I think this is going to happen. Paqueta playing behind the front three. I think he's going to be in the middle. Kudus out on the right. Somerville on the left. Jarrod Bowen up front. I think that's going to happen. Obviously, Fulkrug's picked up this injury. I know it's not serious, but I don't see him starting. Regardless, I know the manager said, well, it's going to be touch and go, not sure. I just don't see that. He hasn't been training, of course, for the last few days because of this injury. I doubt he's then going to be thrown straight into this game. I doubt it. And as I say, I think there's going to be doubts over Antonio and his travels and all that. I just think he'd be on the bench. I'm not saying he won't be available, but I think it's a lot to ask of a player. And I think Antonio hampers himself doing this Jamaica stuff at times. I really do. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think Bowen will be leading the line. And I think it'll be Kudus on the right and Somerville on the left. And I really want to see Somerville start. I think he deserves it. He's looked so good when he's been called upon that I just want to see it now. Do you know what I mean? I think he deserves that. So yeah, that's what I'm going for. Right. Prediction time. I would take a draw. It's that tough a game. I think we're going to win. I just think we're going to win. I've had this feeling all week that we're going to win this game. And it's... sometimes before, I don't know about yourself, right? Before West Ham are playing, when the lead up to a game, right, I get that kind of, I fancy it. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. And as it gets closer and closer to the game, the anxiety levels start to rise a little bit because I start to focus on the opposition. I start to analyse them a bit more. I start to look at highlights, etc., etc. And my anxiety levels tend to rise a little bit. And then I become a bit doubtful on the result. I then it's like my brain starts taking over and thinking, oh, do you know what? With Fulham, although that has slightly happened, I'm still confident we're going to win. I've still got this feeling we're going to win this game. And I'll tell you what, I bloody hope we're right. Obviously, I hope we win, but it would be a massive 3 points if West Ham were to go away to Fulham and get a win. I think it would be a kind of a statement-y kind of win. It's not going to City and winning, I understand that, but it's still a big side that are expected to be, top half challengers this season away. They've started the season pretty well. They've got a very good manager, solidified Premier League side. And I think if West Ham are to go there and get 3 points, I think it just sends out a message that we're up for it this season. And I'm looking forward to it. Hope you are too. Get your score predictions in because I always want to know and let me know what you think of the team. I think I'm right. I think that'll be the team. That's my gut feeling. I really hope I am. Remember it. Well, of course you remember. It's on here. It's evidence. You can go back to it. I'll refer back to it certainly if it's correct. But that's what I reckon. Let's go. Anyway, my prediction. I'll get around to it. I think we're going to win. I think it's going to be Fulham 1, West Ham 2. That's my gut feeling. Bloody hope I'm right. Come on, you ones.